Who is with Vinny Fiorenza? There's a lot he doesn't know. There's a lot he wants to know. This is a podcast where he tries to learn from people who know things he doesn't. He'll be focusing on people from the worlds of business, entertainment, and the arts. His guests are people he finds fascinating and that he believes will bring value to others. Join him on the journey on finding out who is.
Who is Arick Salmea? Arick Salmea is an artist, an actor, and a producer. In this episode, we get into some topics like how he's been inspired by Leonardo da Vinci, his film Skull Rock that made the Cannes Film Festival, and his NFT art galleries that I've had the pleasure of attending on both coasts. So please join us on this episode in finding out who is Arick Salmea. What's up, gang? We're here with Arick Salmea. Gonna get a couple laughs today. We're gonna have some fun and learn a little bit about this guy. I think he's super great. I'm sure you will too. Let's hear all about it. So Arick, what's up?
How you doing?
Fantastic.
All right.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. Like where you from, what's your background?
Yeah, so I was born and somewhat raised in Los Angeles. I consider myself a Renaissance man. Because no one thing defines me. That's kind of what I've come to terms with after my last birthday. Is no one thing defines me.
Definitely not.
But currently, I'm a painter and fine art painter. I used to be a restaurateur. I used to design and build custom homes.
Nice.
Acting and filmmaking was definitely my tried and true passion. And I'm still working on that and putting films together.
I love that.
Right now, I'm actually writing a horror movie, which would be
That's fantastic.
really
know
exciting.
That. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I haven't
Talk
even
about
told
that
you
after.
about this.
When you were growing up, right? How do you think your friends would describe you?
A spaz.
Spaz,
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, they called me a spaz.
That's great.
I think,
bullying or like friendly, like
I think it was friendly, but
Okay, cool.
it could have also been a little bit of passive aggressive.
That's great.
You know, I think what it really came down to was, people have always tried to kind of peg me as what I am or who I am, and so that mysteriousness about me has been something that I struggled with my whole life because, when you hear how people talk about you, you can't help it define who you are and what you think about yourself. Yeah. So what I came to realize was that, no one thing that anybody thought about me was all of who I was. So I always thought of myself as someone who's open to possibility.
And I completely agree. From what I know of you, you're unstoppable in a lot of different directions.
I appreciate that.
Of course. Being raised in LA as an artist, did it have any impact in you wanting to be an artist?
I think anybody who grows up in Los Angeles is going to think about delving into the arts, simply because as a society, we value celebrity and we value, the arts in a way that, everybody wants to be famous.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be famous for something. And when you're surrounded by so much art and creativity, you can't help but want to at least try a little bit of everything. And I've always been a smorgasbord kind of person.
Same.
And I always told myself that I'm not going to do anything for a long period unless I felt like confident in my ability to do whatever it was. And that was one of the things that I came to terms with in the last few years is that, you point me in the right direction and I can do it and I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, you've definitely proven that from the time I've known you. Who has been some of your biggest influences? And that could be both from your personal life or, I don't know, famous artists at some point in time.
I studied art in college, and so what I loved about Leonardo da Vinci was specifically that he wasn't just a painter. So And part of the reason I call myself a Renaissance man, I think, stems from what I know about Leonardo, who basically was, part scientist, part biologist, part, sculptor and painter. I mean, he really, he invented a lot of things. People forget that he actually drew the very first flying vehicle. That's Leonardo da Vinci, the guy who painted the Mona Lisa.
So many things stem from him.
So many things stem from him. The Da Vinci Code, for instance, stems. I'm just kidding.
I bet. You could. I'm very gullible. I'll sit there and believe that for a while. It's like when they go chasing in that movie, the Holy Grail or whatever.
Well, actually, okay. So to be clear, there was some truth to that. In a lot of those paintings that Da Vinci did and other artists did as well, they'll be pointing up or they'll be pointing down. And there was some truth to it that the direction in which they were pointing was referring to either
a sequence
of things, sequence of paintings. In some cases, in most cases, it referred to God, because most of them.
I'm always learning with you, so it's really resourceful. Our conversations.
I'm great in a pop quiz.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, but please, I hope I pass something. But I think that back. I know you're a very talented artist. When I see some of your work, I'm like, what's this guy thinking? How does he come up with that? So I'd love for you to tell the audience, like, where do you come up with some of the ideas for your work?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, actually. It's something that I hope resonates in my art, in my work in general, because I do put so much thought into all of this. Before I start anything creative, I usually have about 45 minutes to an hour of meditation.
Oh, nice.
And I ask myself, what is today about? What happened to me today? What am I affected by? What moved me? What made me feel something? What affected me? What excited me? And based on that, it'll trigger different kinds of thoughts, and it's a little bit like plucking a ripe piece of fruit. You see it hanging in front of you, and you just grab the one that looks the juiciest. And that's kind of how I come up with it.
I love your metaphors.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. I was pretty fortunate to meet your wife, daughter, and your father at one of the shows that you hosted.
Thank you.
I know that family is everything to you. Like, do they show up in your art at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
I would think that everything I do creatively is somewhat peppered by my relationships that I have in my life, the ones that mean the most to me. I'm pretty sure one or two paintings actually you probably pop up.
Get out of here.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'm not
hysterical.
Kidding. Yeah. And it's so funny too. I may have to tell you after the show.
Oh, that's funny. Well, you have them back here.
I definitely know which ones too. But the point is, I try to think about what people mean to me. I realized many years ago that the only thing that matters in this world are the relationships you have. It's the biggest fallacy of the pharaohs. Fallacy of the pharaohs. That sounds like a good title.
I should change the podcast.
Yeah, that should be
My
that
mind
should
is
be a
the
title for
pharaohs.
something. But the fallacy of the pharaohs was that they thought that they could take their riches and their life with them into the afterlife, and that was their belief. But when you realize that when you die, you take nothing with you, it forces you to sort of appreciate who you've lived your life with. And one of the most influential movies, I know this is going to sound so cheesy.
No, I'm sure I got worse than you.
Yeah, but I mean, I love movies, obviously, as you know. But one of the most influential movies that I remember thinking about over and over again was "It's a Wonderful Life."
How is that cheesy?
Well, because everybody watches it and they love it, and it's heartfelt. It's a Christmas classic.
Yeah.
At the root of it, and this is something that's so true about life, right? At the root of it, the how and the what don't matter. It's always the who.
Yeah. Completely.
And
that's the reason. That's the reason we're sitting here.
Yeah, and not to get too emotional here, Vinny, but I'm here because of you, and you
I appreciate
are
that a lot.
An amazing force of positivity and thoughtfulness.
Man, thank you.
And
can't cry on one of the first episodes.
Yeah, well, you deserve it because you deserve a little.
Means a lot.
A little love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you. Means a lot. Yeah. Some real kind words. Yeah, no, he sat in traffic to get here.
I did, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Here. You mentioned how much you love film.
Yeah.
You created, acted, wrote, created, and acted in your own short film, which was I was fortunate enough to watch, called Skull Mountain, which
Skull Rock. So. Yeah, Skull Rock.
Can you imagine?
That's okay. Who writes these things?
Yeah, I don't know. I got to fire someone, but I'm kidding. I wrote it, but I would definitely recommend it to a lot of people to check out. And tell us a little bit about that.
It's hard making a film. And when you want people in Hollywood to pay attention, you need to wow them. And, I had a long career in graphics and design and visual effects and motion graphics and all of these different skills, photography, yada, yada. And I realized that was a leg up for me. That was something that I knew, and I had that background that maybe many younger directors wouldn't have.
It showed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. And I really wanted to make something that was personal and artistic and meant something to me. And so Skull Rock was. I set out on this journey to make this film, and I said, if this is the first and only film I ever get to make in my life, then it better be the best damn thing I ever made. Oh. And I poured out my heart and soul into that project, and I think it looks fantastic and it sounds fantastic. Yeah. I collaborated with amazing artists and amazing people who believed in me. I had a crew of over 17 people. Wow. We shot over 3 days. Wow. We had post-production for 3 months. I mean, it was
fantastic, man.
An insane production. But in the end of the day, the film went to Cannes Film Festival and it went to Los Angeles Film Festival. And it was, I thought it was very successful. It opened up a door, which, if you allow me to delve into this for a second, you might actually enjoy.
I want to hear about Cannes too. If you went or not. But go on.
Well, the film went to Cannes, but much like my painting that went to space, I did not go.
Okay.
Believe me, I'm kicking myself for that one. My one and only chance to sort of be in Cannes, and I had to be here for another film festival. They were happening simultaneously.
Got it.
Anyway, so I made this film, and it was a Western. And I happened to walk in the neighborhood, and I bumped into this guy named Bob. And Bob was telling me that, he was trying to produce some movies and he really liked Westerns. I said, oh, you should check out my Western. He's like, oh, absolutely. So I sent him the Western, and I don't see him for another 4 or 5 days. But then I see him walking his dog as I was walking mine. And he says, I saw Skull Rock. That movie was so awesome. It was so impressive. And guess what? He said, I showed it to Harvey and to Quentin, and they loved it, and they want to meet you. I said, I think I know who you're talking about, but let me just check. Are we talking about Quentin Tarantino and Harvey Weinstein? He's like, yes. And they have a project coming up. It's a Western, and they're looking for a director for it. I said, wow, where do I sign? Right? And he's like, okay, we're going to set the meeting for a week from now, and you can meet him. So I was so excited. Everything was raring to go. I had a whole presentation prepared and everything.
I'm sure you did, too.
I did. You know me. Yeah, I'm thorough. 4 days before the meeting, the scandal on Harvey Weinstein comes out.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes,
wow, that's crazy.
4 days before the whole Weinstein Me Too thing blew up, and poof, just like that, everything disappeared.
It's better.
Bob didn't.
Couldn't
Bob
have been
didn't
4 months
answer.
earlier.
I know. Anyway, long story short, it was a heartbreak, right? Because you're this close to making something amazing and meeting icons in the industry, and then something like that happens, and it kind of makes you wonder, well, why did I even have to go through that?
Well, you did still make something amazing.
I did.
Yeah.
But here's what it made me realize. This is the takeaway. The takeaway from that experience was, the only reason it was there was to reaffirm that it was good.
Yeah.
What happened after that? I mean, I would have been working with, a major shyster. Are we allowed to say shyster on this show?
You could curse if you want.
Okay,
Don't matter.
well,
There's no rating.
a major fuckface. This guy was a monster.
Yeah.
And I just felt very blessed that I didn't have to work with such a person, because who knows where that would have led, right?
Literally, yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, it was just a little notch in the cap, as it were.
It's cool, man. I'm happy to be able to know that story, and no, for real, and it proves that anything could happen, and that's what I'm trying to do here.
Anything can happen, and it does.
Yeah, it's true. You started creating NFT art, which was a little over my head when we first met, but now I'm starting to conceptualize that a little. And that was actually the way we connected.
Yes.
Doing some little art show, and you responded and blah, blah, blah.
A little amazing art show.
Well, thank you, Arick. I appreciate that. Explain to my audience, like, some of the, what is an NFT and what drew you to this concept, especially on the art side.
Yeah, absolutely. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. And here's the elevator pitch, because I can get into blockchain technology and crypto and all that stuff. But here's what an NFT is. It's a signed and sealed certification of authenticity from the creator of the NFT. So it's like you went and put a seal on something that you made, and that seal is viewable by the entire world, regardless of governments, regardless of internet, regardless of censorship. It is fully transparent. Anybody can see. So if I were to make, say, a piece of art, and it started appearing in people's walls without my consent, well, you could look back and see, well, who sold that NFT, and is that NFT issued by me? If it's not issued by me, it's fraud. It's a fake.
Got it.
And so an NFT is basically a way for artists. Scratch that. An NFT is a way for anyone to validate and confirm and certify to the rest of the world that it's from them.
Got it.
And we've never in history had such a technology that allowed us uniformly to assure others who are buying your product that it's authentically from you.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense to me, at least. Hopefully that translates.
So what drew me to this was, when I found out about NFTs, it was a light bulb moment, because I realized, finally, all of the things that I've ever done in my life have led me to this moment. Meaning, I have a degree in interdisciplinary computing in the arts.
That was a lot of words.
That's a lot of words.
Wow.
Basically, what it means is I'm a computer guy and I'm an art guy. Okay. And when the two meet, okay, it's usually a recipe for stealing.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have the end of that sentence.
Right. Stealing, because anybody can right click and save any image or any video or any piece of music, or you name it. Anything that's digital can be copied and sent to someone else with or without your permission or even knowledge, right? But now was a technology, here was a technology that finally brought some sense of control to the creator of this piece of digital whatever, right? To know who had it and how much someone paid for it. And that's the brilliance of NFTs is that it's going to be a revolution for everything. But I don't think it's going to be called an NFT because NFTs right now have like a negative connotation. So I think digital collectible is probably what it's going to end up be calling.
So with that being said, you think that they're here to stay, well, regardless of what they end up being called?
Whatever they end up being called, the technology is here to stay, and it will revolutionize how we do commerce in this world.
I conceptually, trust you. Conceptually, all that makes sense to me. Matter of actually using it, I need a couple more lessons. But the art world has seemed to take a real liking to NFTs and like the use of it. And what are the type of interesting people you've met in that space? Like I know I've met some interesting people, majority through you, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah. What has that been like for you?
You know, it has a way of bringing out every kind of person and character you can think of, from the most altruistic to the most shystery.
I'm sure
that's not a word, but we'll go with that one. It's actually pretty amazing that I've met so many people during the pandemic who I actually met in real life after I met them online. And in this community, what I've come to realize is that everybody wants to see it succeed, because I think everybody recognizes that it's a huge opportunity for, at least in the art world, for self-expression. And one thing that I learned from Trent Reznor, of all people, of Nine Inch Nails, is that when you self-publish, you have control over your product. No one else does. No record label, no company, no creative director, no person above you is saying what you should or should not release. So the people who I've met, I would call rebels in a lot of way. But the best kind of rebels, the rebels who want to pioneer something really magical and empowering and freeing, that art has that ability to do, but so does anything that you
It's
sell.
true, yeah, of course. A lot of I know relationships are built in this world, like on Twitter. Like you're kind of active on there. Well, like
Yes.
Does that, like, what role does that play with you, and how have you been able to use that as a resource?
It is a direct way to speak to people in a community right now that is public, right? Because when you think of the other technologies out there, you know, the WhatsApp groups, the Facebook groups, the even LinkedIn groups, they tend to have a self-contained audience, whereas Twitter seems to be the general populace, and it's one of the few that really promote that kind of you can read whatever I'm writing regardless of whether you follow me or not, which Facebook could have been, but it never was, right? There's a lot more.
Two different worlds.
Very, very different worlds. So I think in a lot of ways, Twitter empowered artists like myself who are entering this NFT world to find out who was out there who would resonate with their artworks. And with the advent of Twitter Spaces, we were really able to congregate and speak about the things that we were doing and the things that we were excited about.
So it's funny you mentioned Twitter Spaces. I've been working with some people in the Film 3 space. Like, has anything like that ever been appealing to you? Like, would you ever think about making a film that would be backed by a crypto or something like that? Like, say, on the blockchain?
Yeah.
I might have said a couple words. I might have confused a couple people, but say crypto-based movie.
So I actually met one production company in particular that's what they do, is they leverage NFTs to crowdfund, essentially.
Wow.
And there was a video game based artist who had created a comic book that was heavily leveraged into NFTs, and they raised $15 million.
Shut up, no way.
$15 million, and now they're making the animated movie.
Left me out of the loop on that conversation too.
Well, I mean, it didn't really go far on that for me at least.
Oh, gotcha.
I gave them a property that I had optioned back in the day, and they were very excited about it. And long story short, I never heard back from them. But
that's how it goes sometimes.
Well, this is a tough industry, and it's an emerging industry where a lot of these obstacles and challenges are coming forth that people need to figure out how to troubleshoot.
The roads are still being paved. You know?
They really are.
Yeah,
and hopefully they all lead to Rome.
Yeah, that's one in Rome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. Well, this went south in a hurry. But don't worry, NFTs has that industry as well.
Tell the audience a little bit about your galleries. Like I've been to 2 of them thus far. What was it like? I went to the one in Soho, which was in the middle of 2022. Then there was another one out in, what was that?
Silver Lake.
Silver Lake at the end of the year. They were both freaking awesome because I didn't go to enough of those, and like I would like to go to some more this year. What was that like for you? Because they were yours.
They were, yeah, they were, and
they were massive though. They weren't little galleries.
I don't know. For better or for worse, I'm one of those people who doesn't think small. I think balls to the wall, and I go for glory, because that's how you push the envelope.
Yeah.
That's how you make real change. I feel like the art world has been mired in exclusivity for a long, long time. What's amazing about the NFT market as a whole, digital art as a whole, and NFTs and whatnot, is that people who have never collected a piece of work before were collecting artworks. I myself have never collected
Get out of here.
a real life, painting, what we call a physical painting.
IRL, right?
Yeah,
I don't even know
painting, a physical painting, a real painting, whatever we want to call it. But I myself never collected such a piece, and NFTs were so simple. And more importantly, so accessible. This is the thing that I think was at the root of what I was really fascinated by. Yeah. The accessibility of the general public to have some kind of inkling into these artistic movements that were happening and emerging really excited large groups of people who wanted to be a part of it,
including myself.
Yeah, and wanted to be in this community. So you were finding that much like a great song that just keeps morphing and changing like a DJ on ecstasy, this was like
that.
Moving.
Yeah.
And I saw how successful the gallery I put together in New York was, and I realized we need to do it in LA as well. We need to find and bridge that gap between the people who have collected physical art and the people who are collecting digital art. And so the Silver Lake Gallery was a hybrid of both of those. We had physical pieces in there as well as digital pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it was very impressive. I was happy to be a very small part of that. And I met some of the most fascinating people I've met in a long time there.
There were some characters,
yeah,
for sure.
Holy crap. But I mean, there'll be way more where that came from for sure. And,
I mean, look, in the end of the day, if art doesn't excite, it fails.
Yeah. No, that's it. You gotta, I mean, and everyone has a different perspective on what art is to them too. So like, or what excites.
Art is subjective.
And what excites subjective. Or gets people excited. Yeah. So, what has come from those events for you? Like, meaning, like, I don't know,
a lot of heartache,
yeah, all right.
a lot of pain,
There we go.
a lot of pain, a lot of torment. hardship.
Anything positive?
Oh, yes. Why am I doing this? Right. You know what? It's the satisfaction of knowing that you're doing something that other people aren't,
Yeah.
and pushing the envelope.
That's cool. So I didn't expect that answer. That's cool.
Yeah, because people have asked me many times, like, what motivates you? And I say being original. The last thing I want to do is copy someone else.
Yeah.
And so the thing that excites me the most is, putting my own signature on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, I think society as a whole progresses when you contribute something fresh and original.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So what did I get out of it? What I got out of it the most, I think, was the encouragement to proceed.
Dude, that's one of the more powerful things that you could take away from a situation like that, because it's the same thing with all artists. Like if you're convinced to continue on, how could you really beat that? I mean, if that wasn't exactly what you wanted, there'll be the situation where you get exactly what you want at some point. And I don't know, how do you define exactly what you want anyways? The compassion to keep going is the most important thing.
Well, and also I think it's important to note that, listen, boys and girls, like, you can do whatever you like at home that makes you happy and that you find enjoyment with. But in the end of the day, if you are brave enough to share it with other people, maybe, just maybe, we'll shine a little bit of a brighter light into this world.
Yeah, we need some of that for sure. On that note, I'd love to close out with some quicker questions. All
right, shoot.
Yeah. So these are more fun, I guess you could say. Hot, yeah, right? Hot or cold weather? I think I could take a guess at that one.
Hot.
Yeah, there we go. Favorite movie, and I'm gonna follow with show. Yeah, I know it's an impossible question, but you gotta throw one up there. If you
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Cool, that fits. What about a show? You got a favorite show that you could?
As in TV or
TV.
stage?
Yeah.
TV show.
Oh, shit. Would you rather answer stage?
I could do either.
Go both. We got the time.
For stage, In the Heights.
Okay.
One of the greatest musicals I've ever seen. Period.
Our producer agrees.
Yeah, unbelievable. I actually saw it in New York 3 times, and I saw it in LA twice.
Wow. Okay. I guess I have to say it.
Yeah, listen to the soundtrack. It's incredible. Anyway, as far as TV goes, it's a toss-up between Game of Thrones and Sopranos.
Okay, yeah, that's a good. I'm probably in the same category. I got to pick Sopranos, but that's just
they're kind of the same show.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
but different time
different
periods,
settings. I don't know if Game of Thrones is
dragons.
a time period, but yeah, that's fun. Do you play any instruments?
I used to play the guitar.
Cool.
I say I used to because now I don't want to embarrass myself.
Understood. Do you have a favorite meal?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Tacos.
Tacos. Nice. That's great.
All kinds.
Okay, I got a more fun one. Do you have a historical figure that you'd like to have a drink with?
Oh.
Yeah, right. I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but let's.
Wow. Shoot. That's a tough one. I'd love to have a drink with Albert Einstein.
Nice. Yeah.
I would.
Same.
Some people say he was the greatest scientist of all time, but actually he's one of the most creative minds of all time.
Of course, yeah, you got
it. Yeah.
Cool, Albert Einstein. So, what's next for you? What do you got coming up? What could you let us know about? Well, I heard about the horror. You're writing something horror related.
Yeah, so I'm writing a horror film, which is pretty exciting. I'm not going to put it out there.
No worries.
Just in case.
Any specific art projects that you have coming up? I know you do series.
I do series. I'm working on a new style of painting that I'm really excited about, and haven't really released anything yet. So whenever you challenge yourself creatively to do something, it should be something no one's seen before, or in that form at least. But
Nice.
one of the other thing that I'm pretty excited about is recently I met this winemaker out of Australia, and I just haphazardly pitched him this idea for his winery, and he loved it, and I might be doing a series of paintings.
Wow, mazel.
For the label, and I'm coming up with some gamifications.
I gotta hear about that one.
Well, and here's the exciting part. I'm talking to him about some gamifications with the bottles and NFTs that can be, let's just call it a double whammy.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure the next time I have you on, we'll talk about that more.
Yes.
when you're a gazillionaire off of that.
Oh man,
but
it's coming.
It is, believe me. What well, where could people connect with you, or are you looking to connect with people?
You know what? I love connecting with people.
Of course, I know that.
As long as they're kind. I have no tolerance for unkind people. But I'm happy to talk to anybody. They can find me on Twitter at Arick Artist, or on Instagram, also Arick Artist.
Cool. We'll put links available for everyone to check out.
And I'm working on a new website, so that'll link everything. So,
yeah, there we go. We'll look,
which will also be called Arick Artist.
Nice. ArickArtist.com.
Don't worry, I
coming
own it.
soon. Yeah, we trust it. Yeah, be careful with all that. But I'm really grateful you were able to come out here.
Yeah,
this is
man.
fantastic. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for
We
everything.
talk all day.
Yeah, I know you can. So can I.
Yeah.
But
you
this
can.
this was fantastic, and appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Salute.